Guitar Stuff with John.
Hey guys, JP Cormier here. I just wanted to do this video is going to be about this little wee Recording King guitar, and this is a cool little instrument. But as with most guitars, I have to do a wee bit of tweaking to the action, and this one's no different. What I'm going to end up doing with this guitar, it does have a good truss system in it, which is located in here, and I could easily just sort of maybe crank the neck back a little bit and lower the action, but for my own taste, this measurement right here is too high. It should be coming down and around there somewhere, and that means the saddle's too high. So I'm going to take the strings off this thing and show you how I'm going to cut this down so that it will work. Anyhow, so there we go. So I'm going to take the strings off, and then we'll rejoin you right after I get that done. So here we go. Okay guys, I just wanted to give you a quick look at this too by measurement standards. Like, I do all these things by eye because I know exactly what my guitar looks like to me. But if I take a measuring device here and I know that I want this big E string to be 2.25 at the 12th fret. You can see that this thing is way above that. There's the 225 right over the 12th fret, and it is much higher than that. It's more like about 2.75, and that's way too high. It should be down here at the top of that measurement right there. See that? That's how much higher it is than it should be. So I'm basically going to shave off the bottom of the saddle until that string is sitting down about there. That's where it should be, instead of way up here. It should be down there. And then the action is going to get really sweet. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So here we are, guys. So we've got our saddle. We pulled it right out of the slot, no worries. Come out of there slicker than deer shit. So, and this is a bone. This is a piece of bone. So this is a very nice saddle, and you can see through it the imperfections in the bone. You can actually see through it. I don't know if you can tell that or not, but that's really good. That means it's very porous. It's a good piece of bone. It has imperfections in it, and it's really, really light. That means it's going to sound really good. So we know that this is the treble end because of the compensation here under the B string. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a Sharpie right here, like so, and I'm going to use my metal straight edge, and I'm literally just going to draw a line on this where I know how much I want to take off. And understand, I'm doing this from years of experience. I know exactly how much this has to come down to get that string to go down where it's supposed to be at the 12th fret. And there's the line. So the reason you draw a line like this is because you don't ever want to make a mistake and cut this too low. Because if you do, you can't put the material back in the saddle. You have to cut a whole new saddle, and that's just not going to happen. So, not for me. I don't have the proper tools for it. I know how to cut one, but I just don't have the proper gear. So what I'm using here is a real simple. It's a 220 garnet paper, and I'm literally just going to sit here with this saddle and do this until I get down to that line. Now, a lot of people will tell you different ways to do this, that you shouldn't actually do it like this, because you can end up putting an angle on the saddle this way or that way. But you just got to keep your hand steady. You want it, what's flat, and you just work it. And it doesn't take long, believe me. And you just keep checking that line. When you get down where you can just barely see the line, you stop. And there's your material removed that you needed removed. So I'm going to sand this off, and then I'll show you the reinstallation. And so there we are, boys. She's a little dusty in here. It's makes a little bit of a mess, but you just wipe it up. It's just a little bit of bone dust, won't hurt nothing. People actually save that to fill in mistakes they make in their nut slots. Sometimes it's a nice thing to have if it's real bone. I don't know. This is a good quality saddle. I don't think it's the densest piece of bone I've ever seen, but it is what it is. So anyhow, we're going to do this reinstall. So again, we know that there's the compensated B area of the saddle. So that's going to go right there. There's your treble side and your bass side. And it's a little bit wonky. It's not tight fitting. It should be tighter than that, but you know, whatever. So I enjoy doing this work. I like to customize my instruments because, as I said, I know exactly what my instruments are supposed to be like. I know exactly what they look like from every angle that I'm playing them, and yeah. So this is kind of like a little hobby of mine to just do my own setups if they're not too complicated. If they get too crazy, well then I would take them to Doug Sampson in Halifax at Long and McQuaid in Bedford. Actually, he's been doing my guitar work for 25 or 30 years. So yeah, so this is really all there is to it at this point. Just gonna go ahead and peg up all these strings again. And you can tell by looking at this. See how much of an angle there was on that string? Like, that's pretty deadly high. There's a really big angle there, which means that the saddle was exceptionally high. This will change the tone of the guitar a bit too, because there's not so much pressure on the saddle translating into the bridge plate this way. So it could make the guitar a little quieter. I doubt it. I've never seen, usually when you get action perfect the way you want it, the guitar almost always sounds better with a nice easy action that you can really, you know, get the instrument to sing for you. So putting these strings back on, you just got to be careful not to get them tangled up with each other. And there we go, last string, last peg, working in the mess of God knows what over here. And there we go. There's all 6 strings. So, and you always tune a guitar like this up gradually so you don't shock the neck or the truss system. There's the B. And yes, I don't use string winders. I never have. I enjoy the tactile aspect of working on a guitar, and using a tool, frankly, to you know, turn a machine head kind of deprives you of some of that contact with the instrument. I like to know what my instruments feel like. If there's a problem, like, you might not even notice that there's a machine head wonky or something like that if you're using a string winder, because you can't really feel what's going on. You feel the tool, not the guitar. So there's a little bit of a tune-up, and get this up a little bit. I'm noticing a change for the better in the tone already. These strings might not survive this. They were factory strings, so. There's a standard formation, not up to 440 yet, but you can hear a little bit of rattle in it, and that's because it's not all the way up to 440. So as I tune the guitar up, it'll start to pull the neck forward a little bit. And there you go. Now, this is about 440 here. And no, I don't have a tuner, just my ear. It's actually gotten louder from this adjustment, which is very interesting. Which, as I said, is not unusual. So, yeah, there's my action adjustment, and I don't think I'm going to need to do anything else to it. So let's take a look at the measurement now and see what it looks like. Boys and girls, now we're going to take our little tool here, and we're going to take a look at this bad boy now at the 12th fret, and look at that. Deadly good. Right down to 2.25 millimeters. That is gorgeous. Beautiful. And also, I have to say I'm rather disappointed in myself because I just checked the tuning I did without the tuner, and I was a half a tone off. Sorry. It was F sharp, not G. And I'm very disappointed in myself. All right, we're going to take a look at this thing from the front and see what she sounds like after all this adjustment. Boy, it's awesome. Very true guitar too. The intonation is perfect on it, and now what I can do now, initially when I first got the guitar, I cranked the neck back a hair. Now I can perhaps I even have a tool right here I can do it with. I can actually put some more relief in the neck and In other words, I want to loosen this little fella here. If this is the one that does it, it is. So I'm going to turn this counterclockwise, quarter turn. Get the string out of the way there a little bit. There we go. That'll bring the neck this way a little bit. It should fix any residual kind of fret rattles or anything. There it is. Awesome. I love it. I may even yet bring a little more relief in it if it gets a little too rattly, if it gets dry or swells or whatever. But the other thing about this guitar too that I find very impressive is that the nut is perfectly cut. The string height at the nut is perfection. And the way you tell that is you hold it down at the 5th fret and you touch it at the 1st and you see if there's space. There's supposed to be 18 thousandths of an inch there. And there is on this one. You can move the string down to the fret just ever so slightly. On every single string has that little space, 18 thousandths or so. And man, that's hard to do on any guitar. And they cut this nut perfection. There's not a thing wrong with it. I wouldn't change it. I don't need to lower any, like cut out any of the slots or build any of them back up to make them higher. They're already perfect. I actually can't wait to hear this guitar with a set of good strings on it. These are okay, but they're not elixirs and they're not coated. Very loud guitar for its size. It's just such a pretty sounding guitar. I love it. It's a cute little guitar and it's a lot of fun to play. And it sounds like what it is. It's an old Parlor guitar. And I have no doubt that if you actually found an actual recording king that was 90 years old, this is what it would sound like. Except this one's built out of premium materials, you know, with modern technology. I love that lick. I stole it off of Eric Johnson. And this guitar plays it like that. That note's way up there at the 16th fret. Works fine. It's all day, man. I could play it all day. It's so much fun. It's got a great, beautiful kind of a round, old vintage neck on it. It's very smooth and well built. There's no flaws in it. And from I just did a pretty major adjustment. You know, changing the saddle height can be kind of traumatic to a guitar. It takes it a while to get, you know, work back in and whatnot. Not this thing. Right out of the case, she sounds great. So, yeah, if you like this kind of guitar and you want this kind of funky, beautiful, retro, weird thing that you can't really get anywhere else, this is the company for you, man. And the price couldn't be any more right. This guitar is like, I think, $289 Canadian. And I'm telling you, it's built solid as a rock. This guitar is not going to come apart. And if it does, I'll tell you, because I'm keeping mine. I love these things. If I have any problem, you guys will be the first to know. Okay, see you in the next one.